Just talk about it.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Pamela Anderson.
Wow. Okay, I'm saying this to my boyfriend now. He doesn't believe I'm here.
So welcome, welcome. There was a lot of hallway traffic in the back, but we're here now.
Yeah.
I'm Jason. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Jason. Nice to meet you. One second. I really am saying this.
Do you have a preference as to which couch you'd like? I was just told both sides are my good side, so it doesn't matter for me.
I don't have a good side, but I can.
More like you don't have a bad side, am I right? Okay, I'm gonna stop with the bad jokes now. So welcome. All right, have you been having a good con so far?
There. That's good. Okay. Pardon me?
Have you been having a lovely con so far?
Yes, it's nice to be in Montreal. I like coming to Canada any chance I can.
Yeah, you were born here after all.
On Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
So.
Here being the country.
I should have learned better French. Now I'm living in Marseille. It would have come in handy, but you know, as a West Coaster, we kind of rebel against having to learn French.
Right.
And I regret it now, but darn it. Oh well.
I feel bad in Montreal that I only speak 2 languages. It feels like everybody in Montreal speaks 3 or 4. How many people here speak more than 2 languages? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's so difficult when you're older to learn a new language. It's like nothing in me wants to learn, and I can have a photographic memory when it comes to, you know, scripts and things like that, but not it's language is difficult. And
yeah.
French is difficult. Très difficile.
It is tougher to learn. Like, that's medically proven. I think that you learn languages, pick them up easier. Yeah.
Crap.
No, that you pick them up easier when you're a kid than you do when you're older. So that's our built-in excuse. That's what I've decided.
I'm going to learn. I'm speaking as much as I can.
That's good. And you say you have a photographic memory for scripts and things like that? You always pick those up really quickly?
I have a photographic memory for poetry, scripts, all sorts of things, but not I can't speak right now, but that's jet lag.
Well, you came to Montreal at a good time, so we had a crazy heat wave last week, so you've arrived right at it wouldn't have mattered, but it's air conditioned in here. I don't know why I'm talking about like that. There we go. I just want to make sure you guys were awake. You guys excited?
Yeah.
There we go. We never got like a proper introduction and welcome music, so we came out. So one more time, round of applause for our invited guest. There we go. We'll ease you into it a little bit. We do have some excited people who are lining up for questions. We're going to start over here on this side, and then we're going to jump back and forth from mic to mic.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Ashley. Big fan. Watched a lot of things. Stripperella, V.I.P. Didn't do much of the Baywatch, but the other stuff, really enjoyed it. My question's about your animated career. From Stripperella, would you do another animated series, maybe superhero?
Well, I like animation.
Nature enthusiast, like superhero for the environment.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, as an animation is easy. You don't have to do anything. You just have to do the voice. So, I mean, I like a little action myself physically. I would like to maybe do something fun like that. But a cartoon would be fun. I don't think I didn't realize at the time when I did the Stripperella with Stan Lee, I was so busy with my family, and one was kind of concerned. It was funny, Stan Lee wanted the cartoon to be naked, and I said no. So who am I? What was I thinking? But I was, raising kids at the time. I didn't really want to do something like that, and so I never continued with that show. But yeah, I never really did any of the animation stuff. Maybe a Disney film, that would be fun.
Probably they won't ask that cartoon to be naked in a Disney film. Probably not.
Yes, I'd rather do that.
Thank you so much for your question.
Yeah, Pamela Anderson in a Disney movie, I would bring my kids to see that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pamela
Right?
Anderson, what voice could you do?
I don't know.
Voice.
Any voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I don't know what Disney has coming out right now. They are very strict on their non-disclosure agreements, but we'll find you something. Over here.
Hi, Pamela. I used to watch Baywatch when I was like a little bit younger.
Yes.
One of your recent things that I really enjoyed was the roast of Pamela Anderson.
Oh.
And I'm wondering which comedian, in your opinion, was the funniest, in your opinion, and will you be doing more projects with Comedy Central in the foreseeable future? So those are my questions.
Well, the reason I did the Comedy Central roast was for PETA. We raised about $250,000 to do that, so I thought I would take a few hits for the animals.
Yeah.
And they were all awful, to to me. But you know, I had some guests with me. I was trying to divert some of the attention to Tommy and Courtney Love, and thought I'd bring some characters that would kind of maybe take some of the heat with me. But yeah, it was difficult. It wasn't as glamorous as I remember. I was thinking back to the Lucille Ball days, and you know, they kind of went right for the bad stuff. You know, they have to be a little more edgy. But Comedy Central is fantastic. I mean, I love those guys. But I don't think I'll be doing another roast or attending another roast, because you're still a target if you even attend.
Did anybody cross the line? Say something.
Cross the line.
They all crossed the line.
That's what it's about. I was ready for everything, but I'm surprised I could still get a date after that. Some of the things they said. Oh.
And you mentioned you raised money for animal rights through that. That's something you're very passionate about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Something we're all very passionate about. When did you start to get involved with activism?
Well, when I was on Baywatch, I was getting a lot of attention for, I thought, really silly things, like my boyfriends and my boobs. And I thought, what can I share this? I need to have something, I wanted something more meaningful to share the attention with. And I always had an affinity with animals and was rescuing animals from a young child. And yeah, we've changed a lot of laws all over the world. PETA has been very active, and then I'm the chair of the Sea Shepherd, and I've just accumulated all these causes, and everything I learn I apply to my life, I apply to my foundation, which I also have my own foundation. And it's all connected, and we all just have to do the best we can, so that's what I've been doing. And I'm fortunate enough to have a platform where I can speak, so I've been speaking with governments and changing laws for vulnerable people and animals, and I feel a responsibility to do that.
That's great. Yeah. And on that subject, I heard, and I'm curious to know if it's true, did you really write a letter to Vladimir Putin at one point?
I've written numerous letters to Vladimir Putin.
Does he write back?
Well, he changed some laws for me.
Oh, great.
He stopped importing seal products into Russia, and they're 95% of the market, which kind of put a damper on the Canadian seal hunt, which was my goal. And I don't know if that's very popular since it's the East Coast, but I know tradition and culture is difficult to change. But I just, it's one thing I think is kind of a stain on Canadian history.
Yeah, we actually don't have too many wild seals in the streets of Montreal, so I think you're safe here.
Yes, it's always a touchy subject, tradition.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
Hi.
Mine is more of it's not really a question. I just want to say thanks, because Baywatch was a huge part of my childhood.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up, but I used to want to be a LA lifeguard for the longest time, and my mom even bought me the bathing suit. I was so obsessed with Baywatch.
Oh, that's
And it was
fantastic.
I was actually watching it to watch it, I wasn't watching it for the girls running around, And I started buying the DVDs, and my 4-year-old and 7-year-old watch it with me. And when I took them to the beach in Maine last year, because we live in Wisconsin now, but we come see my family, we got onto the beach, and both my kids goes, "Mommy, this is Baywatch." So I just want to say thanks, because I was a huge fan, and you were a huge part of my teenage years, and I had a great teenage life, so thank you so much.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
So sweet.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. Hi.
You are a vision of loveliness, I must say that.
Oh, thank you. Jeez.
But
R222
One other
agrees.
person agrees. No.
okay, I was a big fan of V.I.P, and
Oh,
I
right
was
on.
wondering, did you get inspiration from the 80s classic Remington Steele when you did that?
Oh my gosh, no, actually, I've never heard this before. But the 80s, yeah, I mean, I loved it. I actually was very inspired by my Auntie Vi, who always ran around in feather boas and different outfits all the time, and wigs and big sunglasses, and I thought that was my inspiration for the character. And I created the show with Jonathan Lawton, who created Pretty Woman and Under Siege. He was my partner, and I loved it. I loved that show. It was my idea, so I really loved the whole idea of the undercover bodyguard that was always in trouble, because again, I love the action, I love the fun outfits, the comedy, and yeah, I miss that show. That and Baywatch were a lot of fun for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite show that you've been on, or is that like picking your kids, they always say?
Yeah, well, I mean, Baywatch was so much fun, and I would have been on the beach anyway. So I was like, wow, I can actually make a living at this, bring my dog to work. you know, and I then probably would have continued much longer, but I had Brandon and Dylan, and they're 20 and 22 now.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible, and Brandon's an actor, Dylan's a musician. Dylan's music just came out last week, so it's amazing. They're doing so good. So I'm in France. I went to France. Pardon me? Midnight Kids, yeah, so cute. That's Dylan's band. I guess it's not called a band. I don't know what it's called. I keep asking him when his album's coming out, and I guess there's no such thing as albums anymore, so everything I say is wrong.
When do you drop on iTunes?
Music, single. It's a single. His single is out. That's cool, right? I don't know.
Can we go out and buy his music right now?
I think on Spotify, Midnight Kids.
Oh, cool. Oh,
He did it for a year. He was producing music under an alias because he didn't want to have any association with me or his father. He wanted to do it on his own. He didn't even use Lee. You know, he's Dylan Jagger. I guess he wants to do it all on his own, which is great. And he was very successful at that. And then so last week he put out his first original song under his own name, under Midnight Kids.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's doing great.
Excellent.
Yeah, so he's all on his own. No help from mom.
All right, next question.
Yes, my name is Donald. Je veux juste poser, pas une question, je veux juste suggérer tout simplement, si vous voulez apprendre le français.
I believe he is volunteering to teach you French.
Okay, well, I just went through one teacher. I need another one.
But, vous savez, à Montréal, il y a du monde drôle dans un drôle de monde.
Merci.
How would I translate that? As he said, in Montreal, there are funny people, and then there are funny people.
Okay.
That's not true.
Drôle.
That's not the direct translation, but that's how I choose to translate it. We'll switch over here.
Hi, I'm Michael. I really love your cameo appearance in the Baywatch movie, and my question for you is, what was it like working with Dwayne Johnson?
Well, he's so nice. First of all, he's so great. His family's always with him. He's really funny. He's so charismatic and charming. He is kind of like I was going to say a David Hasselhoff on steroids, but I don't know. Maybe David Hasselhoff is Dwayne Johnson on steroids. I don't know. Anyway, they're you know, it was similar, but very bizarre to look at him and call him Mitch. I was like, yeah, good luck. Wishful thinking. And same with me. It was just fun to see the cast with their names as, you know, other people, which were big movie stars. And so he was really incredible and sweet.
Oh, I didn't know that about the movie, that it was the same characters even. I thought it was just like the next generation of...
No, it was a movie and they had our names. But the girl that played me, CJ, they ended up calling me Miss Parker, and she was CJ. It's all confusing. It doesn't matter. It's a movie. Doesn't have to make sense.
What was I guess I can't imagine they would have made that movie without having you in it in some capacity, right?
Well, they kept saying they were going to make this movie for 15 years, you know, for a long time, 10 years or whatever, and I kept not believing it was going to happen. So when they said, oh, we're going to do the film, I was like, yeah, just tell me when it's for real. And so then they called me and said that Dwayne Johnson was doing it, Zac Efron, and it was for real. And so I just did a small cameo, and then if they do a sequel, they want me to be in it again.
Oh, that'd be great.
But I don't know how well it did. I don't think it did well, the film. I think they spent so much money. Like, how would you? We used to spend $500,000 an episode. They spent $65 million on the movie, and it doesn't look much different. More explosions. We did it like totally guerrilla style. We'd use the same explosions in different episodes, and we're always in the same outfits. So it's use the same some underwater shots that we'd already done for 2 seasons ago. Whenever we looked best.
That's the difference between the TV world and the movie world, I guess.
Yeah, and Baywatch was really different.
Yeah.
Different. We did a lot for nothing, and we didn't know how popular the show was all over the world when we started traveling and promoting the show. We didn't know what all the fuss was about for us. We kept looking behind us going, what are these people freaking out over? So it was...
And it turned out to be you.
It was us. It was exciting. It was exciting to see how popular. 150 countries. I didn't realize there were 150 countries.
Wow. No, that's huge to be like broadcast all over, and then you're off on the other side of the planet and people recognize you. That must be such a trip.
In all the different languages. I haven't seen too many of the episodes, but the ones I like are the ones when I'm speaking Spanish or Japanese or something. Is pretty funny. So funny.
Just imagine that, you're seeing your own picture and
I
then
meet
someone
people
else's voice
too.
coming
I'll
out.
be in Germany and someone will meet me and say, I do your voices for everything you do in Germany. Really?
Yeah, they do that. They'll be like, in each language, someone is the
person?
voice actor for this American actor, and they'll
I
do
tell her,
all
I'm
of
sorry I
those.
haven't worked that much in the last 10 years. What have you been doing? Hopefully raising kids, doing what I'm doing. I
She
don't
says,
know.
yeah, go on an audition, would you?
Yeah, exactly. She wants me to work more.
All right, next question.
Hi, Pamela Anderson. I'm Jeffrey. I want to talk about Borat movie. I remember from the scene when you see Borat, and I was funny, but it was only a movie. The situation was funny. What do you think about your experience in this movie?
Well, I met Sacha Baron Cohen, and I met him at the Chateau Marmont in Hollywood, and he came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be in a film with him. He was very strange, even then, even in plain clothes. I thought, and I was like, Ali G, I see this, oh, he's fantastic, he's so funny. I said, of course, and so then he followed me around for a couple of days, and that was odd. This was not even being filmed. He was with the director, he was on my TV show I did called Stacked. He came into the dressing room, and people kept saying, is that Sacha Baron Cohen in your dressing room? I said, yes, he's following me around, just ignore him. And then they told me the concept of the film, that he'd be following me around and trying to capture me or something, or marry me or something. And I thought, okay, so I don't have to be in it very much. And I thought it was a compliment. And then when we did the scenes, I did know. Sometimes people ask me if I knew or not. And we did a couple different endings. One was with Kelly Slater, and our dogs were getting married, and he floats in with a guitar, and he's singing from a raft out in the ocean, and I guess he didn't like that ending. So we did the ending where he was getting an autograph, like here, and he puts me in a bag. And that was so scary, because he flipped me over his shoulder, and I remember I chipped my jaw, he hit me into a bookshelf, and it was so much fun. I loved it. But we did it a couple times, and he kept saying, I don't know what's gonna happen. People could jump on us, or the security could come, because nobody knew except for him and I and the director what was going to happen. And my security didn't even know. And my security was crap, obviously. They did nothing. Everyone froze. So no one tried to save me, and he just ran off through the mall with me over his shoulder and then chased me around. So anyway, it was really a fun experience, I guess. And he won a Golden Globe, I think, something crazy for this. It's crazy. Yeah. He just called me from the table. Said, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks in
I'm just trying to...
Montreal.
Merci.
Thank you. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. This wasn't like a planned, you were just at a con and he was following you around like documentary style, and then threw you in a bag and tried to kidnap you.
Well, the movie's about much more than that. But,
Well, yeah, but I mean,
no, he didn't really follow me around. He was following me around just to kind of get to know me.
Okay.
Before we actually did the film. It had nothing to do with, he didn't film me at Stacked. He was just, I don't know the reason. He's crazy.
Was he in the Borat costume?
No,
Okay.
no, just kind of getting a sense of, I don't know why, I don't know, but anyway, we did it.
I guess he's just a fan.
I don't know.
Okay, next question.
Hi, Pamela. I just want to say thank you so much for being such a shining example of inner beauty first, because you're such an icon and you're so unbelievably beautiful, but your inner beauty is actually even higher, and that's just true. I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask if you had any tips or little suggestions for people who were thinking of maybe trying vegan or getting involved in that. Just anything that comes to mind where they could eat, what they could do.
Well, there's some good restaurants in Montreal. Sushi Momo, right? There's a couple places. There's a lot of good vegan restaurants everywhere, and you really don't miss the meat. There's some places that have a lot of different substitutions and things. But I think it's important that people try to be vegan. I'm not a real dictator. I don't try and make someone feel bad for having a leather jacket or eating a hamburger. It's just do the best you can and reduce the meat in your life, because it actually helps the environment, and that's such a huge issue. obviously, for the planet, and it's healthier for you, better for your sex life. Meat makes you impotent.
I haven't had beef or pork in 15 years, just putting that out there.
You're covered. But and also just to be an activist. I think if you read a book, you go to a museum, if you stay engaged in the world, you're an activist. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a part of any group. You just have to kind of take stock in what your lifestyle is and try and do better, because we can't rely on governments and even some great organizations. There's a lot of corruption, and we have to just do what we can ourselves and encourage our friends. That's the best way, I think, to be an activist.
Yeah, wise words. It's something that I've read that a lot of people don't realize about the vegan movement and vegetarianism is the cow industry is so devastating to the environment, not just to the cows. It's a really huge impact, so save two things at once, I guess. Yep, it's you.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for being an example of external beauty. I have the biggest crush on you.
Thank you.
So, I just wanted to ask if you could share some of the health benefits of eating ethically. Like you said, sex, skin, other things come to mind.
Well, just they did this. There's a book called The China Study, and it showed that the places that ate less meat had better, didn't have heart disease, didn't have cancer, didn't have all these things. So there's that. Obviously it has a lot of health benefits, and I think what they're putting into meat these days is a lot different than it used to be. People aren't hunting to get their meat and bring it home, and not like they used to. So it's so much waste, and they talk about how much energy it takes to produce a pound of beef and how much water it takes. You could have, I think it's like, for 1 pound of beef, you could have 60 hours of a shower, or you waste a lot of water when you eat meat. And that's going to be a real issue soon, water. And just the energy used, refrigeration. And I actually, there's a prison in Arizona that went vegan. I wrote them a letter to see if they would go vegan, and I said after a year I'd go serve food. I did. It was scary. It wasn't so bad. And I think they showed that the health benefits were really good, that the prisoners that were underweight became normalized and overweight became kind of normalized. They made peanut butter. They learned this whole new lifestyle, kind of a non-violent way of eating too. There's lots of benefits to it, just compassionate reasons, for karmic reasons, I don't know. Be like that too, but just we all just have to do a little bit better. And like you said, meat makes you impotent, so that doesn't help anybody, I don't think. What else? And there's just so many great vegan alternatives now, and so I think it's easier now than it was, and so it's nice to give it a try. And like I said, eat less meat, eat more vegetables. You can only feel better. Thank you.
Next question.
Yes. Hello. First of all, Pamela, I want to wish you a very happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. These birthdays, they keep coming.
7 days later, but you're here today.
Merci.
Okay. And I just want to know if we can have a biography of you. We can see nothing, no books in Montreal from you. We can see nothing. We see for Marilyn Monroe, but not by you. When we could receive?
Maybe when I pass away. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel it's difficult because I don't know. I have this kind of idea that. I don't know if this is going to happen. This might be a really good idea. Instead of writing a book like everybody does, I kind of want to be a hologram that people can ask questions to. That maybe I come out of pink smoke and I'm always around and everyone can always talk to me for, the future. I don't know. I think there's a different way to kind of an alternative way to kind of tell my life story other than just a book, because it's also difficult to kind of do a tell-all book because there's other people involved and they have their privacy. They have a right to privacy as well, and a lot of my fun stories I can't really reveal too much, or I'm kind of incriminating somebody else. I can incriminate myself, but that's boring. Yes, but there's been little specials and things, but they never get it right. Eventually, maybe.
And you wrote a blog for a while as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. You were writing an article for Jane Magazine for a little while too, I think?
I write a lot. I ramble a lot. I don't know, people say I'm always writing poetry, but I don't know what I'm writing. I'm just writing. And I on my website, I write a lot of letters, like you said, to governments, and I write about I have a lot of very interesting friends who teach me a lot, and I get to share that with a lot of people. So even like Vivienne Westwood's a good friend of mine, Julian Assange is a friend of mine, and a lot of people that I've learned so much from, and so I get to share in my own way, because I feel like in every person in the room with these really intelligent, incredibly brave people, and I like to share what I've kind of digested from it all. So I write a lot on my website and blogs and ramble on all over the place. People are probably sick of it.
So you can check all of that stuff out.
Yes.
And get a taste. And then maybe the urge will strike you one day to put all that writing talent and write your own autobiography one day.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And failing that, or the hologram, or just a head in a jar like on Futurama.
Yeah, well, I have a friend who wants to do a movie. The people that did I, Tonya want to do a movie. They said it's kind of like a cross between I, Tonya and Boogie Nights. I said, yeah, that makes sense.
Because you actually did voice yourself in a jar on Futurama, did you not? Is that
I think so, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Sam Simon was a dear friend of mine too. He created The Simpsons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he passed away from cancer, actually, and was a really close friend of mine. I was with him the last 6 months of his life. Very difficult, but yeah, we miss him a lot. He's a funny guy.
I was wondering what that conversation was like when they were approaching you for that job. We'd like you to play your own head in a jar. What goes through your head?
I've heard worse.
Next question.
Hello, I'm
Hi.
artistic French Canadian, and felicitation for your cameo of Baywatch.
Oh, merci.
And de rien. And my question is a project. My project is to build in a wall of fame, and I think it's my error, the position of the camera, and it's appreciate to save this photo, please. It's an honor and appreciate for me.
Oh, merci. Thank you so much.
To take
another picture?
Yes.
Ah,
yes,
I see.
Yes,
Oh,
it's a real honor.
Yes. Well, maybe we can do after. Maybe we can do after. I think.
Sure, yeah. And you've got photo ops downstairs as well, right?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
But we did a picture. We did a picture together, and it wasn't right. He says.
If you want to.
I don't. Sorry, I don't know if I'm come back. I come far away, and
yeah, I know. But we took some pictures at the. I know we took some pictures together. But well, I can maybe after we can figure out something.
Just wait around after the panel. And
wait.
Okay. Yes. Go over there.
Just right here on the side.
Because I have a sense with, and no offense, with Val Kilmer, and at 6 o'clock. And I don't waiting him is another important person.
Okay.
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 So we'll go quickly then afterwards.
Yes,
so just,
yes, please.
We'll finish up the panel and then we'll try and make it quick. Over here.
Hi, I just wanted to ask, career-wise, what was the hardest thing or role that you did? Were there any roles that were possibly dangerous or anything like that?
Well, Barb Wire was pretty difficult. I did all my own stunts. I did have someone do the kickboxing too, but that was really difficult. Plus, I got married at the same time. That was crazy. And I got married to Tommy. And I remember he knocked one of the producers out. He got banned from the set. I had like an ovarian cyst burst on set and driven in Testarossa to that. It was the craziest experience of my life, but we're all still here, so that's lucky. But yeah, it was very, very difficult. But so I think Barb Wire. I don't even know what the movie's about.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I was going to say, how could it be more dangerous than Sacha Baron Cohen chipping your jaw? But then you said ovarian cyst burst. I'm like, okay, that does it. Yeah, that wins.
Okay.
Over here.
Yes. Hi, Mrs. Anderson. I've had a huge crush on you when I was young. I was watching Baywatch, just like everybody, and there was also this movie Barb Wire, which I personally really like. I've seen it like 20 times. I was just wondering, how was it working on this movie with the actors? And
Well, we started off with the film was supposed to be a really dark comedy, and Alan Rifkin was the directing it at the time. And then I went to Cannes, and we hadn't shot anything yet, but the response was so big that they said, oh no, this isn't going to be just a little comedy, this is going to be a huge film. So they changed the director, they changed the script. It was just crazy. They were changing it every single day. Like I said, it's hard for me to even imagine what the movie was about because it kept changing. But it was fun. It was the only big film I've ever done. And like I rode a motorcycle. I did like I said, I learned how to kickbox. I learned how to shoot all these different weapons and put an MP5K fully together, in my sleep. I don't know. It was really, really incredible, and the cast was great. And like I said, it was a good experience. I don't think it did as well as they expected, but it's kind of like it has its little cult following, which is cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it did well at Cannes, and then their reaction to it doing well was, let's change everything.
No, it was going to be this little kind of dark comedy, like
right.
kind of this little film. But then we went to Cannes, and it went crazy. It was a huge. I think so. They changed the director to more of a kind of more of a commercial director, and more of a commercial script. They changed it all.
Yeah, go figure. It sounds like they were on the right track. And then,
I think if they would have left it alone, I think it would have been better.
Probably.
Yeah. But we hadn't even shot anything yet, so it was just the script. They kept changing it, but they kept changing it as we were shooting.
I see, okay.
And then I got pregnant, all sorts of things happened.
Okay. We only have about 10 minutes left, but we also only have a couple questions left, so this should time out perfectly well.
Hey Pam, how are you?
Hi.
That was my question. There's this quote from you that I love. You said, a fart is never not funny. Do you remember saying that and where you said that?
No, I never said, did I say that?
You said that on the Howard Stern show.
Oh, well, it's never not funny. I guess, well, I don't, oh gosh.
Double negative, right?
Yes, it's never not funny.
I'm so glad you feel that way.
No.
I mean, you've been on Howard Stern many times.
I've been on Howard Stern many times, yes, and there's a lot more.
How is your relationship with him? What do you think about Howard Stern?
I mean, Howard's always been good to me. He's always been funny, and he's really, him and his wife. His wife's actually a great animal activist, and so he's actually very, very sweet. And this whole, shock jock thing is his job, but he's very, very kind and very sweet.
I've heard that about him, that it's all just an act that he puts on for the sake of the show, and
he must have it in him somewhere if he's joking about it. There are no jokes.
But I guess if you live your public life like that, it's such an outlet that when you get to your private life, you can just relax and take it easy.
Yeah.
Question over here.
Hi, Pamela. I was just wondering, do you ever look for projects that involve veganism and animal rights? Or you yourself, one day want to make a movie or something that involves those themes?
Well, I mean, anytime I do a film, even, people have talked about this, the film when I did, what was it called? Superhero, and when Harvey Weinstein wanted me to do the scene with a dog, it was an invisible dog, so I said, why does there have to be a dog? Because I don't believe with animals working in film, and if I have to eat something, I always try and include that, even in the end of the Baywatch film. It was kind of a vegan-y scene where we're talking about, I was giving Dwayne a hard time for eating chicken or something, so people know that even with me going into a project that is going to have some kind of animal, some kind of message in it that I believe in, because I have so many of these things. But yes, I did a little cooking show called The Sensual Vegan. I'm writing a cookbook called The Sensual Vegan and all the kind of aphrodisiac qualities of vegan lifestyle. So because I think compassion is sexy. Being an activist can be sexy because I think activism and and veganism kind of has a image of maybe someone who's not so healthy or whatever, and it's the healthiest thing. And I just did a film. I produced a film with James Cameron called Game Changers, and it shows that the strongest man in the world is vegan. Navy SEALs are vegan. Athletes, top athletes are vegan, and it's kind of busting the myth of how men have to eat meat.
Right.
So yes, we've just put this film is already going around the circuit of film festivals. So yes, I'm always doing something like this.
Very awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Over here.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I just want to say I'm very glad to see you. Just 2 questions. I don't know if you can answer them, but it would be very good if you do, because I always known you for like fashion icon and but now you change. You're vegan and it's very cool. But I didn't know such thing. Do you think it's sad that people don't know this part of you, or you can?
This is funny because I'm always with me, so I always know me, so I'm always shocked when people don't know this, because I've been vegan for a long time, for 20 years, and I guess I don't talk about it enough. I don't know, but it's not really, I guess this is, and people do say that, even, my boyfriend is like, nobody knows you, you're the most famous unknown person that there is. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Maybe that makes it more interesting. I don't know. I really don't know. But I just live my life the way I do, and I still have a lot of fun. And I'm an activist, and I help a lot of people and do a lot of this kind of thing. But I still have a good time and still get to work, and I apply it to my work. I think it's slow. I think more so now people are getting to know me as more of a animal rights, and not so much as the Baywatch or the rock star wife. I like it better. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Because, like I said, I'm very into your fashion. Is there a trend that you see that you really don't like and you need to say to people like stunt?
Yeah, well, the fur thing, I think it's obvious. I have, I've known, Kim Kardashian and Paris, all those guys since they were little. They've always kind of looked up to me, and they've been really good to me and sweet girls. And then when they're wearing fur, I go directly to them and tell them stop. And so Kim did. Kim does not wear fur anymore. Even Melania Trump doesn't wear fur anymore because I sent their fur coats, and everyone's kind of not Trumpy positive. But I thought she's still a first lady. She still will set trends, and she'll still, especially be setting trends in an environment maybe where people hunt or do this stuff. So they've been good about that. So I try and go right into the fire, where maybe it will make a difference, because you can preach to the choir. That's you don't need to do that. We need to kind of reach people that are not thinking about it. So yeah, I do. Thanks.
Great. I see some new people have lined up, but I don't know that we're going to be able to get to all of you before we run out of time. But you who are next in line, we do have time for you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering about your experience being a sex symbol. Did you have a hard time being taken seriously and,
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to call yourself a sex symbol, but it's been.
You were.
Thank you. I guess. I think you just use it to. I've used it to my advantage, I guess, when it can get me into certain doors and in front of certain audiences to talk about things I care about, and it's okay to have a sexy image and still have all the things you believe in. It doesn't make you stupid. I remember I was a magician's assistant in Las Vegas, and I would make sure I got home every night, even though it was 3 a.m, and I would drive my kids to school the next day and be the helping with the kids. But I would sometimes forget to wash my face, and I'd be covered in glitter and eyelashes hanging off me, and people would look at me and I'd say, just because I'm covered in glitter doesn't mean I'm a bad mom. We all have work and jobs, and we love our kids, and that doesn't make a difference. So, yeah, I've kind of been playing that back and forth my whole career, but it's worked out. It's worked out well. I'm not bitter about it, that's for sure.
It is something that one of the fellow hosts here wanted to bring up, was that you seem to really be aware of that image and use it to your advantage and have fun with it and play with it in very powerful ways.
And I think more so in the past. You know, I'm older now, and my kids are grown, and I'm spending most of my time doing, you know, working as an activist and being around people that I really admire, and so I don't know if now I just myself. Like it's hard to explain, but I'm not really. I'm using everything I got to do the best I can, I guess.
So use it as a platform.
Right? Why not?
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you. One, maybe two more if there are quick questions.
Hi, Pamela.
Hello.
Tell me, after animation of Stripperella, you love it of interpreting your voice?
Pardon me? What?
Peut-être le dire en français? Est-ce que
Interpréter la voix de Stripperella.
Oui. Est-ce que c'était quoi la question par contre?
Comme le projet avec Stanley et aussi pour pas mal de choses pour l'animation quand j'ai regardé la saison 1 à 13 de la saison 1.
Okay. I think he's just looking for confirmation that you voiced Stripperella.
Yes, I am Stripperella. Yes, I was Stripperella.
Did you want her to talk about it or? Yeah, maybe what the animation you love it of animation or not?
Oh, did you enjoy?
I would like it. Yes, I mean it was like I said, it was fun. It's you know, it's easy. It's you don't really have to, you don't do anything physically. You're just behind a microphone. I have friends who do a lot of voiceover work, and they say it's the best job in the world. You know, but they can change their voice to different characters. Where I just have this funny little girl voice that's just the way it is, I guess. But I would love to do more.
Yeah, it's a great gig to have. But I have the same thing. I wanted to get into voice acting, but I just have this one voice. And this one voice can do whatever you want it to do, but it's going to be this voice.
It's a talent. I don't know if I have that.
Merci beaucoup pour la question.
Merci.
Ah, c'est normal.
Merci.
You two are standing next to each other. Do you have like a joint question? One question?
Fantastic. Yes.
Perfect. Last question.
Well, hi, Ms. Anderson. You had such a bold career. Do you consider yourself as a feminist?
Yeah, I consider myself a feminist, but I also think this third wave feminism is kind of paralyzing and boring because I'm a real romantic, and I don't want a man telling me what to do, or a woman how to live my life. And so sometimes I think that this real progressive feminism is difficult to live up to as a woman too. So you feel bad if you're not, you know, the career woman and doing everything, and sometimes people just want to be a stay-at-home mom or a wife, and that's okay too. But I don't think feminism has really come a long way in 50 years, and obviously gave us a lot of great freedoms and great, you know, it's great. But I think sometimes in progressive countries, it can be paralyzing too. Sometimes there is a negative side to it as well, and that's my own opinion. But yes, but I still consider myself a feminist. Thank you.
And that is all the time we have. Pamela Anderson, thank you so much for coming. Sharing your time with us. Pamela Anderson, everybody.
Thank you for watching the Convention Junkies coverage of the 2018 Montreal Comiccon. Please like, comment and subscribe to see more, and let us know below what you think of this video. If you would like to help us with future projects, please visit our Patreon page.